We're just trying to help people better understand the process, you know, of construction for their dental office.
We're just trying to help them not be stressed out.
Yeah, doesn't have to be as painful as
a lot of people make it.
Yeah,
to be.
Yeah. We're required to be paid by the doc, right? The doc is the client. Getting a project done on time and in budget is the goal, right? And we're a neutral party. We're not paid by the startup consultant. We're not paid by the bank. We're paid directly by the doctor. So our loyalty is to the doc, and our best interests are for the doc and their build, and not some outside party. Where we're actually coordinating, the outside vendors, working really with the general contractor to get the thing done. And
to answer any questions. That way they don't bother so much the doctor, because a lot of times they're still doing, they're still doing their day-to-day work, or they have family, or they have other things, and so we're here to
country.
Yeah, we're their liaison when it comes to the construction process. If the contractor has any questions, if the landlord has any questions, we're here to help.
Yeah, mitigate just a lot of wasted time. There's a lot of wasted time during the process
Yep.
of your build. I mean, from the time that you talk to somebody at the bank, you talk to the broker, then you're starting the design process with whoever it may be. There's just a lot of time that's lost because nobody's chasing the ball. Nobody's making sure somebody's replying. Nobody's making sure that we're following best practices as far as timing to get that thing done before you sign the lease, which is the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah.
You sign the lease, you already started construction at that point.
Yep.
They're like chipping the concrete like that day or the next day. But there's a lot of time in between that's lost because there's a lot of noise. We've said it 100 times, right? The fog of construction.
Yes.
It's like there's a lot of noise. Everybody's got their own way to do things and stuff.
Or if the doctor feels lost, I mean, we're here to help them. Like, let you know, hey, this is where you're supposed to be at. This is what's going to happen next. And keep you posted. And like Tommy says, chase the ball. Okay,
yeah.
Is it because of the designer? Is it because sometimes the doctor is taking too long to answer something? We ping them.
Yeah, keep that in mind. We not only pressure, the contractor or whoever has the ball, the designer or, whoever it may be. We also pressure the doc to get us some of the answers that we need, because we can answer
the majority
of those questions. But there's some things that are specific that have to be approved by them, because, you don't want me picking out your paint.
No.
Or changing it.
No.
You don't want to pick it, changing the flooring, because there's a 12-week lead time on the ultimate flooring you found on Pinterest that you have to have, but it's 12 weeks out, or it's like 10 times the price. We want to make sure you still want that, and if you do, okay. But if you don't, because, it's out of the budget, or you don't, it's a long lead time. So then we have to go to you for that kind of stuff. And if you can't, we'll pressure for the decision, because,
yeah,
we kind of need it,
Yeah. So we're here to push the ball.
In a couple of days, we'll give you a couple of days, but, if it's already been like 5. We've had docs that, were living in California, but they're moving to Hawaii. The doc may be living in another state and they're moving somewhere else, and there's not a lot of relationships there and stuff, so we, leverage our resources that we have all over the U.S., to be able to get the thing done, get it turned over, answer these questions, mitigate risk, which is what it's all about, right?
Yep.
Mitigating risk, reducing the risk. And so we've done that for them. Some are just moving down the street, but, they
go and check on the job every day.
Some go check on the job every day. Some don't, because they're blowing and going. They don't have time. They're just, don't have time. Some will go check the job every day, but they're not exactly sure what they're looking at, or they're not sure like how the things flow. People start from the front to the back, and they're like, hey, they didn't do this work over here. Like, well, they haven't gotten to that yet. And so then, just educating them how it works.
And then there's some that leave the country for 3 months while they're building the practice.
That's right. Some that'll leave the country.
And those are nice sometimes because, they have this trust in us to do the right thing. And again, we'll contact them if we feel like we need their input. But other than that, I mean, they run pretty smooth and they're very happy with it.
Yeah, and we send out updates so that they know from wherever they are what it looks like and how it's coming along.
Yep.
We send those updates, whether they look at them or not, it's up to them. Sometimes they want to be surprised, which I don't know.
Yeah.
I just got asked that the other day. What's the process like working with you? I told them I could probably send them some references if they wanted to talk to, because it's hard for me to say what it's like working for us because everything is so dynamic. The construction process is dynamic. I may get a call about something being off of the floor, or they ran into a beam, or they didn't realize there was post-tension cable, or there's a framing issue because the framing material they needed is not available and they want to change to wood. There's just things that are dynamic that we take care of and handle. And we don't go and do a touchdown dance or toot our horn, so we don't really go and tell the doc like, hey, we this week we reduced all of these issues, or this week we got this done, or no, we pretty much just let them know like, hey, we're still where we need to be, or there may be a delay because an inspection didn't go through because of whatever code change or whatever the inspector saw that was done, whether it be a violation or just a new rule that needs to be applied. And so we'll update them that maybe things moved back, but we can make the time up on the back end.
And it depends on the process that they're in, because we start from CAD file to floor design to bidding process to construction management. So depending on where we're at, we keep the doctor updated. Whether we're in the floor design, John is really good at letting them know, hey, this is where we're at. This is how many more days I have. And then the bidding process, I send out all the plans out. I send the plans to all the general contractors. I'll send an email to the doc. Let them know they have 2 weeks. Then we'll review the bids. And then if anything changes, I update them. And in between those 2 weeks, the doc will be texting me for other things. Like, hey, I'm going to need space access, so put a lockbox on there. So-and-so is going to go look at your space. Please try not to talk to them because we want all these general contractors to bid apples to apples.
Yep.
And if the doctor starts to get involved, then he's telling them things that we don't know, and so the other contractors don't know, and then it's not fair. So there's a lot involved, but we do a lot of this in the background. We don't, like Tommy says, we don't toot our horns or anything. Once the project starts, we do either weekly calls or I can do a weekly report. And the weekly report goes out to everybody, whether it's your cabinets, dental equipment, IT, sometimes the bank if they want to be involved, or your office manager wants to be involved, or marketing. Well, I'll send it out to all of them.
Yep.
And if not, then it's a doctor to us conversation once a week. So it just depends. I mean, we're pretty flexible. We'll do whatever the doctor wants.
It's just communication.
Yeah.
It's a different form of communication that we try to convey to them so that it's understandable. They understand the process. They understand where they are. They understand what they need to do next, so they can focus on the important stuff like getting all the business stuff done, administrative. There's so much that has to go back and forth to that. They don't really need a one-on-one in construction, and we try to take that burden away from them by just communicating with everybody regularly and with them as much as they want us to, because sometimes they'll tell us like, hey, go ahead and scale that back, because
I don't need to know.
I don't need to know how the sausage is made or see the paint dry or something. So. Yeah. The weekly report is important because it calls out deficiencies in the schedule or with people, and it helps keep everybody accountable.
And it's short and sweet. I don't go into detail. I just let you know where we're at, what's next, and like Tommy says, what's pending.
Yeah.
From who.
It helps call out some. If somebody didn't answer a question, they had an RFI, and they didn't respond to that, then it calls out like, hey, they didn't get that done, or if the submittal wasn't approved, or if somebody's running behind, you know, like, hey, we can't get the drywall up this week because, you know, the electrical didn't pass, or the plumbing didn't get their sign off, or the framing inspection didn't get done, then it calls out who that person is. And it's not to embarrass them or shame them, but it's just to show that somebody's holding up the job, and that helps keep, nobody in the construction industry wants to be the holdup. That's like a bad word. I remember those days where you said, hey, you're holding things up, and it wasn't us, but we'd hear it called out to other people. Well, if you, in a document form now, it's really, you know, something that nobody wants on their end. So they'll move mountains to be able to get whatever it is the deficiency is or holdup is to get moved along. And it also documents like the process to make sure we know why, if things are turned in 3 days later, if it's the project's done 3 days late or a week late or whatever, if it's done a week early or even a month early, ahead of schedule, and we know it's coming. Everybody knows it's coming. You know, the photos show, they say, oh, I forgot to order the
tip-out bands.
The tip-out bands. Or I forgot to order the monitors, the computers, you know. No, you do, because you got an update, right?
Yep.
I didn't know I was going to be installing dental equipment this week. You knew, because you got the update, right?
That's right.
So that's why the updates are important.